Yeah, The Sopranos left us hanging, and so did Steve Jobs when it came to the iPhone. A spammer might actually go away for 11 years, and if you're not seeing Fantastic Four tonight, you might have a case of sequelitis. It's the week that was. It's The Loop Week in Review. All right, my guest tonight, movie editor for USA Today, Scott Bowles is here, new media specialist for City News and host of the podcast Web Nation, available on iTunes. Amber MacArthur is here, and Kotaku.com editor Mike McWhirter. Welcome to The Loop, everybody. Mike, you have a fantastic falsetto, by the way. We discovered this Tuesday night at the Playboy Mansion.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Well sung, sir. All right, Sunday night, 12 million tuned into the series finale of The Sopranos to watch Tony Soprano and his family eat some onion rings and then cut to black. And many fans expressed disappointment and thought that the show should have gone out with a very literal bang. Scott, were you pissed at DirecTV as well? Did you think your cable went out?
I love this ending. This is the best ending in TV since MASH. It's the only series that has ever whacked the viewer. The fact that they had to check and see if their TVs were working, they didn't know it hit them, which was always the point of the show. The first episode of this last season talked about how you never see it coming. You never know when you're going to get whacked, and that's exactly what happened to the viewer.
Amber, did you think it was a cop-out, though? I mean, yeah, it was interesting to end it that way in the middle of a lyric, but shouldn't they have given you a little bit more?
You know, Kevin, I'm very embarrassed to say this, but I'm not a big TV watcher. I spend a lot of the time on the internet, so I didn't get a chance to see it. But I did see some of the buzz online, and it seemed that a lot of people were really upset and wished that it had ended differently.
Yeah, there's been 1,001 YouTube postings of 15 seconds of just black, calling that the Sopranos finale. Mike, has there ever been...
I think they should do a YouTube mashup.
Yeah, they need to. Mike, has there ever been a series finale that fans actually enjoyed, though?
Sure. I mean, there's been some. I mean, there's been some very bad ones, like the Seinfeld series finale. And that's why I think that the Sopranos series finale was actually pretty successful, because they didn't try to wrap things up too tightly or come up with some cop-out thing. They just kind of ended it. And I thought that was great. I really liked Star Trek: The Next Generation series ending. As nerdy as that is, that was probably the best series ending I've ever seen.
Well, and The Sopranos were never about giving you what you wanted. They would kill off characters that you loved. The Sopranos were about tension and about people dying that you didn't want to die, people living you didn't want to live. The Sopranos was never about giving you what you wanted.
All right. Well, apparently, yeah, they gave about 75% of the audience exactly what they didn't want. But I think they're all coming to grips with it. All right, let's move on to Monday, when Steve Jobs kicked off Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference by announcing to developers that applications would have to be created for Safari, as they're not exactly releasing a software development kit. Now, Amber, correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be crazy. I've been called it in the past, but aren't those applications just websites?
You know, they're really just web applications. So all that Steve Jobs said is that developers can create web applications that will run on Safari on the iPhone. So there's nothing specific that you can create for the iPhone in terms of a separate application. So I think there was a lot of people who are a little bit upset with that.
Are you still psyched for the phone, Amber? Is this something you're going to pick up, or are you one of those who say wait for the second gen?
You know, I'll probably pick one up. I'm pretty excited about it happening and getting my hands on one. But, you know, like anything with Apple, 6 months down the road, they're going to come out with a new phone. It's going to have better features. And so we're forced, like we did with the iPod, to really upgrade. And every 6 months to a year, actually swap something in and trade up. So I think I'll get my hands on one. But I would suggest that people actually wait maybe for the second round.
I'm holding off until it's Aqua. Now, John Carmack, who's the head of id Software, he also previewed their new engine, id-Tech 5. Mike, what sort of impact does this announcement have on Mac and the gaming community in general?
I'm guessing just about zero. That John also announced it for the Windows platform, for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. So it's just another thing that's going to have id Software on it. And it's not like Epic is announcing that they're bringing their Unreal Engine there. That is the dominant platform right now, and.
So you don't foresee many developers adopting this technology and Apple using that as a way to trumpet that gaming has returned, or? Well,
I think it's a little bit of a hard justification, because you can run Windows on a Mac now if you want and play your games that way. But that said, that the Mac user base is increasing, so it might be worth the while of somebody as big as id or EA to make a couple Mac games every year.
Right, even if they are emulated. And Scott, to you real quick, id-Tech 5, it sounds like a futuristic boy band, right?
With Sanjaya as the front boy.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I figured we were on the same page there. Now, this week, a New York man pled guilty to violating the Can Spam Act by sending junk email to 1.2 million AOL subscribers. I didn't know people still subscribe to AOL. In 2005, he faces a sentence of 11 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Now, Amber, you tell me, is this sentencing going to have much of an impact in the whole fight against spam?
You know, I really don't think it's going to have any impact at all. There are about 90 billion spam messages that go out every single day. So you can imagine that this isn't going to make a dent at all in all the spam that's coming to our email inboxes. And I really don't think that authorities are going to be able to control spam coming in. It has to be something that computer users really learn to regulate and manage on their own.
So you don't think that no amount of legislation is actually going to stop Nigeria from telling me they have $12 million locked up and they need a couple grand to get it out?
I don't think so, especially stuff that originates in the U.S. I mean, this is really a worldwide issue, and it's an issue where computer users need to realize how to use spam filters in Gmail or whatever email accounts that they're using, and it's something where they have to stop clicking on those darn messages versus, clicking on them, and that's why spam continues to exist.
All right, I want to move on to the final topic of the day, which is, of course, the Fantastic Four. Now, this summer, especially the past few weeks, hasn't been huge for sequels. They're not performing too well at the box office. You have Hostel 2 and Ocean's 13 that have really failed to live up to expectations. So, Scott, how do you think how's the sequel going to do?
You know, we're putting this on the front page of the paper tomorrow. It's actually going to do well, and I'm here to tell you it's better than Spider-Man 3.
Really?
If you accept that it's a comic book film, you check your brain at the door, it's actually a lot more fun. It recognizes what it is. It's a family film. It's got more humor than Spider-Man 3 does.
And Silver Surfer doesn't turn out to be a Fall Out Boy fan and tap dance on a surfboard when he gets evil?
Silver Surfer delivers. That's what makes the film.
Nice.
This is what makes it worth going to.
All right, Amber, what kind of girl are you? Are you more psyched for transforming robots in disguise or for die-hard 50-something-year-old action heroes? Like, if you had your pick, which summer movie?
I'm more excited for the Transformers. I watched it growing up as a kid. I absolutely love it. I can't wait till it comes out in July. I think it's going to be a great movie, and I'm going to be one of the first people there.
All right, Mike, final word to you, sir. Dead or Alive this weekend. You going to check it out?
Yeah, I hear it's better than Spider-Man 3 also.
Apparently it doesn't take much, huh?
Yeah, I think you can watch the whole thing on Google, so I don't think I'm going to go to the theater.
You can. And even if it cuts to black midway as an homage for Sopranos, no one's going to care.
I'll be pretty happy.
Exactly. I want to thank Scott, Amber, and Mike for joining us. Thank you guys so much for keeping us in the loop.
Thank you.
Attack of the Show, weeknights at 7, only on G4.